just going out for a drive in my 1999 Mercedes-Benz SL 500. As you might be able to see in the gauge, got 75,000 miles on it. I bought it, I think about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, to do a road trip with up to Canada, and we did the road trip, and that was fantastic. And when I bought it, I got it on Bring a Trailer. It had one owner from new, and I think it was on about 65,000. So in the time that I've owned it, I've added about 10,000 miles. And that is attributable to the road trip, but also because it's such a delight to drive that I'd wanted, well, my intention was to have it for, like, you know, a weekend car and a sunny day car. And I do only use it on sunny days. I don't use it in the rain. Sometimes I get caught in the rain, but I don't sit out in the rain. Put a good number of miles on it. It's been utterly reliable. When I got it on Bring a Trailer, it did need a few things doing to it. It had a few little niggles. I had to replace one of the switches up here just above the mirror, because that would always just return to center. It was the switch for the doors, the lights for the doors. So I did that. I put a new gas strut in the armrest, and I got some rugs for it. Those didn't really work out that well. I think in the end I actually bought 2 sets of rugs, because the first ones really weren't very good, and then the second ones, which I'm still using, aren't great either. I'd love to get my hand on some original ones, because I just love the fitment of the original ones, and then they've got that little bit that goes on the footrest. These ones were obviously made for the SL 500, or the SL, but they just don't have that bit, and they don't attach to anything, so they're constantly moving. They're just not good. But the car itself is brilliant. It pulls beautifully, it runs effortlessly, I suppose. It's super smooth, just as you'd expect it to be. And I absolutely love it. It's got bags of power. That was perfect when we went on the road trip. My brother and I went on this 5,500 mile road trip up into Manitoba, starting off from central Virginia, I guess. Went up, we did an anti-clockwise journey, so we went up the east coast through New Hampshire to spent the night there. That was really cool. Crazy, modern, loads of cool lights and such. Then we tracked west to Toronto, to the Great Lakes, to Thunder Bay, then went north, Winnipeg. Spent the night in Winnipeg, drove to Thompson, got an early start, got to Thompson, got the train that day, overnight on the train, 16 hours to the Hudson Bay. Absolutely amazing. Trundled along, I don't know, 35, 40 miles an hour. Met some great people. We were on the first train out. We had to stay for 3 days in Hudson Bay. We saw something that sort of resembled a polar bear, and we saw something while we were there that sort of resembled the northern lights to the naked eye. On our iPhone, the northern lights were amazing, but to the naked eye, nah, not so great. So now I'm wondering if anybody actually sees it really amazing to the naked eye, or if they just see it through the phone and pretend that they saw it with the naked eye. Anyway, I don't know. So we did that. Then we came back anti-clockwise, back through Winnipeg, and then through Minnesota, Chicago. We went and saw Buddy Guy in Chicago. He was awesome. He was there. It was his grandson's birthday, so he was there. I don't think he's there very often, but he was there. So I went up to the stage. I've met him. I hadn't met him before. I'd heard him before at a small outdoor venue in Charlottesville in Virginia, and he was amazing. And I've loved blues ever since I saw the Blues Brothers when I was like 8 years old or something like that. Almost 40 years ago, correct. So I love blues music, love Buddy Guy. So I went. Treat me the way you wanna do. And I needed a car for the road trip. And like I think they did in Top Gear, but certainly like Harry Metcalf from Harry's Garage, you know, they do it in
Silver Shadow 2.
I'm gonna buy a
Silver Shadow 2.
I couldn't really find one. I just wasn't sure about the reliability, and then the maintenance on this thing. Like, what would it need? You know, you hear that they've got these ridiculously stupid brakes, and where we were going, and we were going in the fall, I was worried about the cold, and you know, Harry had done all of those things because he went to Norway, right? The Arctic Circle, I think, maybe in Norway. And at this point in time, we weren't just going to go to the Hudson Bay, we were going to go like proper north. I'd read like this road and track where these guys had taken a Corvette, a bit like the one that just passed us actually, but maybe a hardtop version. They'd taken it up into the Arctic Circle, and they'd done all these mods to it, like proper not off-roading tires, but you know, decent tires, maybe snow tires or something. They maybe had like 4 snow tires bolted to the trunk lid, you know, these sorts of things. And I just didn't really want to do that. So then I was looking at a W123 Merc, and one of my old work friends who was an engineer who knows everything there is to know about getting stuff, you know, to the moon and back and things like that. I was thinking about diesel, and I was talking to him, and he was like, you know, you've got to be worried about diesel freezing. It's like, oh, fuck that. So I get a petrol one. Well, then I kind of thought that, you know what, we're doing this road trip, probably want something a little bit more interesting. So then I started looking at SL 560s, and I don't know what it is about America. I mean, part of the problem with America is that it's so big, but it doesn't seem to matter where you live. Nothing that you want to buy is ever where you live. So I was finding nice SL 560s, you know, good condition, because I really wanted to go by the adage that you want to get the best that you can afford. So I didn't want to, you know, fork out 40 grand and get a garage queen. Is this where I turn? Yeah, shoot, made it here already. So I'm going to drop the roof here and do the rest of my journey, because the roads get really interesting. I'm going to do the rest of the journey with the roof down, so I've got to figure out how to drop the roof and put the GoPro back. So next time you join me, we're going to be topless and we're going to be having a bit of fun. Alright, let's go. So yeah, defo pulls like a train. That wasn't flat out, and it's not flat out now either. It really does have, you know, sufficient power. I mean, it's always quoted like, you know, 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds, and you think, man, get cars now that do it in 2 and 3, but I mean, just regular cars do it in 4 and 5. But honestly, you don't need, or at least I have never found the need to have more than 6. Like on this type of road, because I've never taken this thing to the limit. So I'm going to coordinate a wedding at this beautiful venue in the middle of nowhere, and I was wishing that I brought the camera with me yesterday, because I came in my Alfa Romeo Giulia, and there was not a lot of traffic, but I got stuck behind a couple of people on the way, and I was really just taking a leisurely drive. But on the way back, boy, I was getting the ABS to kick in, the traction control, and I was thankful for the traction control. Actually, a couple of times, you know, came out of my seat. But that thing is really, for this road, and there's lots of deer around at the minute, that thing really is probably too quick. This thing, I think, has just enough speed, and you know, it doesn't have so much grip that you're forced to just drive it fast. I've never had this thing break out, and I really don't want it to, because I'm not entirely sure on a road what it's going to do. But I certainly, you know, have some fun on the twisties, and these curves right now are quite fast compared to the ones we're going to see in a bit. So it's unfortunate that I don't have another camera on the exhaust pipe, because I think it would be nice when I do eventually shut up to hear some of the exhaust note. But probably on some of the slower corners, if I hoof it out of, get those revs up, you know, you'll probably hear the rumble, but it's quite muted, you know, and that's obviously intentional. But it handles like that. I mean, it's some nice roll, but there's no, I mean, the rear is not complaining at all. And I don't have the sport package, so I've only got the 245s. I don't know how much more grippy the 275s are. Got this car. I really didn't want to buy a Garage Queen because I wanted to sort of use it, and especially on the road trip, you know, putting 5,500 miles on it, and I didn't know if it was going to be salty, so I didn't really want to get something that I was going to, you know, feel really guilty about. But in the end I sort of did, because as I say, it like had 65,000, which is kind of high, but it was in good condition. And I found out who the previous owner was, and it was just one owner, as I said. And you know, he sold his IT company for like 600 million or something. So this was one of, I'm sure, one of a large collection of cars that he had. So it had been hampered. There's a couple of scrapes on. Oh, yeah. There are a couple of scrapes on the outside, but the interior is in absolutely delicious condition. So it has been looked after, and I'm sure, you know, the one thing I really hate about buying things, not that when you buy them from Bring a Trailer this is true, but the buyer that I purchased it off, he got it from auction. He sells loads of cars on Bring a Trailer. The auction houses throw away all the fucking service history, and it drives me mad. And I swear to God, they just throw away one of the keys as well, just because. So there was a bang there, well, sort of a bang. I mean, it was nothing crazy, it didn't bottom out or anything, it was still suspension travel, but it goes to show that the suspension is actually firm. It's a bit like the Esprit, you know, it's maybe not as good as the Esprit. Like Lotus suspension is just brilliant, it's supple and it's soft, but it still handles beautifully, and I think it's largely the same with this thing. So it's got roll, but the damping, I guess, is kind of hard, so it's not squishy. It's lovely around the corners. It just gives you, I think, confidence. Well, I'm not very confident going into that one because I don't know where it's going, but you know, I would love to learn this road. But breathe in, breathe in. There's probably loads of room, who knows. Funny actually, just a little bit. I think there's some beautiful curves, but there's farmyards right on them. I guess probably they put the farms there because they're at the top of the hill. But I wonder, like, this might be the first of the two of them, but like, how many people come off? Oh no, this isn't one of them. This one, it's kind of similar, but like, I think this is one of the ones where I took off in the Alpha. I'm not going to do any such shenanigans in the Merc, but like, how many people just end up coming off the road and just careening through their farmyard, you know? I rarely use manual mode. The auto, I guess, is just fine, you know, for this type of vehicle. Like in the Alpha yesterday, I had it in the red. It's got 3 driving modes: boring, normal, which is actually pretty good, and then almost like borderline ridiculous. It's a 2 litre, I don't remember if I said that. It has ample power. I can't imagine having the Stelvio. I just don't need a car. Here's the first of the 2 farms. I just don't need a car with 550 horsepower. I'm not going to fly through this guy's yard. See, it's practically their driveway. Like, how many times are they just like walking across and like, holy shit, what is that guy doing, you know? Nice curves here. This is what it's about, isn't it? It's just, and it, oh, it's just grips. Somebody that knows these cars, like, when I had the Lotus, I went out with the Lotus owners. I only went out for a ride with one guy, and I actually made sure to pick the nerdiest, you know, guy out of all of them, because he taught me the slogan of drive it like you stole it, and they really did. because I just figured that he was going to be safe. Man, was I wrong. This guy scared me shitless, and he taught me what the Esprit could do. And he had an S4S, and he had actually upped the charge caller. He had this real sort of what's the name of that crazy inventor? Just cobbled together like milk bottles and half-inch pipe in the boot to, you know, up the power of the charge caller like you needed to, you know. So what are you doing? It's already got probably 350. It's probably even, you know, Lotus, they're always underrated. It's probably already pushing nearly 400 horsepower. Weighs as much as a sugar packet. You don't need to get more power out of this thing. But anyway, he did. So he took me on some road. We were in a convoy on roads like this, and on a bend like that, he changed lanes to overtake somebody and just got all the power down in like second gear or something. So, holy shit! I want to get out. I'm scared. This thing is just gonna, you know, tail out, and we'll both get into an accident. Thankfully, we didn't live to tell the tale. But yeah, so talking about automatic gearboxes, the automatic in this one is as fast as I want it to be. I have no need to, you know, shift down. But in the Alpha, that was a bit of a different story. It's an 8-speed. The gear changes themselves are quick. What's slow is the lag, because it's when you're on that sort of drive that you come to realize and dislike turbos, and you just get a real passion for normally aspirated. And so with this one, probably just with it having 5 ratios, you know, just you love that it's not always changing gear and that you're always on the power. And so I never feel the need. Probably the only time that I would use is maybe like here, if I was going to go for a crafty overtake, then I might just want to drop it in second, you know, and hold the power, and then blat, just sort of, you know, go through them at that point, which I don't know if I'm going to get an opportunity to, and I don't know if this is going to be a guest at the wedding that I'm going to be coordinating, and this Merc is probably a little bit more noticeable than the grey Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo sort of blends in unless you're sort of a car person, but I would imagine anyone that's driving a white Honda Pilot probably see a grey sedan and they wouldn't know it from a Camry. Not, you know, I am not dissing Alfa Romeo. It is a beautiful car and I love it, and car people love it. But people that don't give a fuck about cars, it may as well just be a Camry. But this, although nobody, like, this is the thing about this car, is that I love this car. There's Alpha as my wife's car, but I love this car, and I love Sacco era cars, and so I just love the styling of this. And I think out of the two of them, this one is better looking than the Alfa Romeo. But I got some nice photographs of the two of them, you know, parked next together on the driveway, and I'll show people the two of them, and it'd be like, so are you gonna like my Merc more than the Alfa Romeo? And they're like, oh, your wife's got the better of the two. It's like, damn it, really? You as well? Thought we were friends. Over. Are you? Quickly, and this bit of road now is gorgeous. Right. So that was flat. I think that was almost flat, by the way. Almost flat. Really lovely. So maybe if we do a bit of manual shifting here. Just keep it on the power. That's third, I think. I'm not going to look down, but I'm pretty sure on the clickety-click that's third. Actually, looking down, you still can't tell what gear it is. but I'm pretty sure I came across to 4th and then down 1. So that's 2nd. Oh man, that's a big rev difference from 2nd to 3rd, isn't it? Oh, heavy on the, well, no, not heavy. The brakes in these cars, as everybody says, are just tremendous. And how do they do it? I mean, is it, because I think the rotors are pretty big, right? So maybe big rotors and pads. Smooth. Oh, so glorious. Smooth. Ah, so creamy. The engine and the suspension, the tires and the grip. You know, I wish I knew this road. Imagine if you lived here. Just these lovely sweeping curves, and the quality of the tarmac as well. And there's no, you know, I want to say I'm not braking hard. I probably am braking quite hard, but there's no fade, there's no rumble. I feel like if I actually needed to make an emergency stop, I could. Oh, just glorious. If this is the only bit of my 30-minute YouTube video that I upload, it's the only bit that needs to be uploaded. Just staggering. Gonna go back into D now. Probably need to let the old girl cool down a little bit, almost at the destination. I am so happy that they got a clear run. I hope you've enjoyed the drive along. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the GoPro again, and I actually... Whoa. Lovely.
And I'm going 10, 30, 65 in a 45 zone. Yo, how's my gas tank on E? Oh, and hello, officer. Wait, what? I'm losing my license. I'll lose my job. And here come the court costs. Oh, man.